loads to discuss here. I think the Ratcliffe story is particularly interesting, not just because of what he said, but because of the Prime Minister's intervention on what he said. He should apologise, said Keir Starmer on a post on X. Let's remind ourselves of what the Manchester United co-owner, working-class boy made good, multi-billionaire Jim Ratcliffe actually said on the issue of immigration.
You can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits and huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause... It'll cause... Well, yeah. The UK is being colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it? I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people.
Well, there it is. He got the population wrong, I should say. However, his overarching point was about the society we're in, the benefits bill, immigration. These are problems. Let's speak with Nigel Evans, former Deputy Speaker in the House of Commons and a Manchester United fan, Nigel. And just like his team, in the 91st minute, he managed to come back, in this case, give an apology. Should he have done that, Nigel?
For the use of the word colonising, absolutely there is an issue. It is emotive language. And if you remember, Ian, a few months ago, one Keir Starmer talked about Britain possibly becoming an island of strangers. Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. Which one could argue is much more of a pejorative comment.
Yeah, well, of course, he got hammered by some of his own MP colleagues because of the use of that language. But it shouldn't deflect away from the thrust of what Sir Jim was saying. And we are talking about a man, as you say, he's a billionaire. I know people are taking pop shots at him because he lives in Monaco and is avoiding paying tax. But the fact is, he employs thousands of people in this country who are all paying tax. He's got successful businesses, not just Manchester United. So, but the reality of what he was saying, the thrust of what he was saying, is that there are too many people coming into the United Kingdom, both legally and illegally, which is absolutely true, and that there are way too many people in this country living on benefits. Absolutely true as well. And you can't have an economy that is growing if you were chasing away, by the way, people like Sir Jim to go and live somewhere else because taxation is so appallingly high here on those entrepreneurs and high earners. He's not the only one who's gone. I mean, my goodness me, it's one-way traffic at the moment from Britain to places like Dubai, Monaco, Italy, you name it. So I think that the Labour Party, have you noticed, Ian, how they literally are rolling out the cannons to be shot at Sir Jim in order to deflect attention both away from themselves and the appalling chaos that all the stories are about Labour at the moment, as we know. Yep. And secondly, they're not talking about the issue. It is absolutely right that we should be able to talk about the issue of immigration into the United Kingdom, and it has had its impacts. Of course it has.
And my thoughts on it, Nigel, were whether somebody agreed or disagreed with Jim Ratcliffe on this. Of course, it divides the room. Yes, a word that many will say, well, it's a fairly inflammatory way to define the debate. For some people, that's fine. The fact that the Prime Minister thought that he should apologise because he used either a word or the subject that Starmer would, one assumes, profoundly disagree with. That's the bit I found disturbing, almost like Kim Jong-un pitching up saying, no, sorry, you can't say that.
Yeah, but you can't blame him, Ian, because when we're talking about Sir Jim, we're not talking about Sir Keir. And he must be really delighted that Peter Mandelson and Matt Doyle, both end of the pier shows, as far as I can see it, we're not talking about his appalling misjudgment in putting these two people in the House of Lords. One has been kicked out, and we now see that the chair of the Labour Party, Anatolia, said that she believes Matt Doyle ought to go as well. I mean, he only put him in a few weeks ago. This was a decision made by Sir Keir Starmer. And so us talking about Sir Jim means we're not talking about Sir Keir. And also, we're not talking about the issue that Jim has raised, which is the impact that this mass migration is having on the United Kingdom, and we want to see something done about it. It's why Rishi Sunak was kicked out of office, because he failed to send any of the illegal immigrants back. And also that we're just going to get a grip of this issue as well, of the millions of people in this country who are economically inactive.
Yeah.
And everybody who's going out to work are paying for those who are not working. Why are there so many millions of people who are on benefits?
I mean, that is it's not even just a legitimate debate. It's an absolute urgent one that should not go away, because no one's
They're
solved
trying
the
to
problem.
close the conversation down, though, Ian. That's what they're
100%.
doing by rolling out Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer himself getting involved in this. They don't want people talking about it. And why? Because they are failing on both fronts.
Indeed. But don't worry, because we had growth of 0.0000001% today, Nigel. So, you know, happy days.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, they're absolutely one of the worst governments I've ever seen. Absolutely. The lowest growth, is it for 100 years or something like that?
Yeah,
It's appalling. And don't forget, this was the platform on which the government was elected. It was on a platform of growth. And all the policies that Rachel Reeves has brought forward has done quite the opposite of that. And at the same time, we've chased away all these rich people like Sir Jim, and we have got thousands of people who have illegally entered the United Kingdom, and we've got millions on benefits. They're not going to shut people up, Ian. They're certainly not going to shut me up.
Just a final word, Nigel, if you would. Votes for 16-year-olds. This debate comes and goes, but now it's making its journey through the parliamentary system. It looks like this is going to happen. In Wales, your own neck of the woods, yes, you can vote at 16. Scotland too. But most other Western countries you can't, including England. What are you making of this?
Absolutely bonkers. They are still children in my book. Yes, some of them may be on apprenticeships, etc., or working. But the reality is, and this is what it comes down to, the Labour Party made a judgment that they thought that if they brought those under the age of 18 into voting, they would vote Labour. Because the thrust is that the younger you are, the more sort of revolutionary you are, the more free-thinking you are, you become more conservative as you grow older. I think he's got it badly wrong, because all the opinion polls show that even those under the age of 18 are not going to be fooled. And if he thinks by allowing however many millions more youngsters now voting at the next general election that the Labour Party are going to be beneficiaries, I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to backfire colossally.
Yeah. With you 100%. Nigel, always great to have you on. Thank you, Nigel Evans. He is, of course, the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Commons, former Conservative MP and a Manchester United fan as well.